Hello, everybody. Brian here, quantlabsnet.com. We're going to talk about some lengthy stuff here. Okay, so this is what's going on. I've moved into all my message queuing, going back to the client server with Redis. I'm now using quantitative techniques. I've got a new HTML tool I'm going to show you that's pretty advanced for showing the real-time trading. Got an announcement. No more bookings in the next few days. I'm making myself less accessible. The other thing I want to show you, I'm going to show you some of the code. It's my VS code environment. And lastly, I'm going to talk about Grok 4 multi-agent, which seemed to be a complete failure. All right, so let's start talking about the Redis here. So let me get over to our right there. I'm hoping I'm recording right now. Let me just make sure. Yes, I'm recording. It's so bad what I'm using right now. Anyways, let me show you the VS Code, the projects. So, I have here a project. I was originally going to call mult the Redis. Let me first talk about Redis. As I said, in my stream on Tuesday night, I had like up to 10, 11 self-contained bots competing against trying to connect into one available Rhythmic connection into the Rhythmic servers. That was a big problem. So I did away with that, went back to the client server using Redis again because that's 100% reliable. And then having a gateway with the Redis as well. Okay, so there's that. The other big thing was, and you can see it in my blogs, blog articles that you get at quantlabsnet.com. There was a very interesting approach that I've come up with now, where you can ask the AI, ask it why all there are no orders that are being triggered, and it'll tell you why specifically. That's what I've been doing a lot lately, and a lot of it has to do with and I said this again in my stream on Tuesday night, saying that I am using hard set targets, numbers. They don't work because if you have a news event that comes up, except that could be a couple hours, hours old. So if you have to already the price moving beyond that target and what's expecting that, generally it's not going to trade. So what I ended up doing was I ended up changing that and just using quant formulas, which was quite surprising for me as well. So, but I'll come back to that in a minute. So I built out this tool um, called a log analyzer. So I'm using a lot of the logs um, as they're um, rolling out, and I can load these logs as examples. So these are the latest logs that are generated. I can do this multiple times a day. So here's what it basically tells you. So there's 9 bots running. Um, there's no there's some open trades, but no closed positions yet. We have here still uh, these data connection problems, gateway with the Redis. So I still got to resolve that. I think that's going to radically improve things. Um, so we have that. These are all the bots running as well. We got profiles set up for each one, but you can see they're issuing these so-called data connection problems. Again, it could be Rhythmic itself. It could be also a Redis connection. So I got to diagnose that. We also have here with the trading. I've got 2 open trades. Nothing has closed up yet. So these are copper trades. So they're obviously connecting with copper. And here's the market data as well. So the node data, all of these are issuing that. I can figure out what's going on. This is kind of interesting on the pricing action. You can see here how long it's been waiting to run, hour and a half. But the interesting thing is it comes up with the general price since the launch of all the bots, and you'll see all these dips, but you'll see a general trend. When you get these deeper dips, that means that there's more volatility in the price. So minus all that, um, there might be another one here I can show you. Yeah, so this is another one. Wheat. But what I'm finding as I'm doing this, you can get this completely straight where there's no dips. And that's good because that tells you that there's less volatility in that pricing because of the drawdowns. As a result, as long as that trend continues, that's good. Generally, I do not see that those kind of dips are in gold, somewhat forex and treasury. Okay. And it gets really crazy when you look at natural gas as well. Originally, from the day it looked good on the market indices, but they all failed. So it's hard for me to gauge that. But I could probably pull up another set of data if I want. So this will get ranked as well, which is really good. Once it's completely working on the data connection, this will be very valuable information because it's so detailed. And you can see here what would be running if there's actual closed off positions as well. You'd see that. So you could see one where you have losses and another bar chart comparative on the winning. And then you can clearly know if you want to trade for the day or not. This is all simulated. And you can then get a breakdown on what kind of bots are running. So we have two that are metals, one that's FX, another one that's agriculture or fixed income or energy related. This one's really good as well because this tells you on the data. So it's fairly stable. If I was to run this overnight, which is really a waste of time, because the volume's just not there. It's all light, very light volume, if it's volume at all. But if you run it overnight, which I've done the last couple of days, you'll see some blips of data coming in, but generally it's not that useful. So what I'm saying is you have to run it during Chicago market open. Um, Purposely set up these bots early in the morning to see what would happen, and that seems to be the best schedule for that. So I'll stick with that for sure. Um, so these are kind of what's happening as well. Some of the downloads, which is quite interesting as well. Let me see if I can load up. The software takes so long to load up. But let me just go into my download folder here. So what I want to show you is this is the plan I could use. So this was from last night, I believe. So I'm getting the same report and I can turn it into a PDF. As you can see here, we have a PDF option. Now, again, all of the stuff I'm showing you, I can turn into agents and do this on a scheduled basis and be able to analyze before and after the markets that are open Chicago time. So I could do that, but I can do that for sure 100% with a good model, be able to do that in an automated way. Okay. And actually have commentary uh, created for me. Um, so the other interesting ones is I'm just pulling up some of the ones so here's another analysis of this. So it's just basically that HTML dashboard I showed you. It's just basically a PDF version of that. The other thing that will be useful for people, and this is again part of the planning your day. We have a bot plan that we can use as well. Again, I can load that up. Oh, here we go. So this is an example. So this is a JSON file. So you can see here, these are the bots that are getting set up for the day. Okay, so I can launch them and run them. Okay, and they're ready to go. So if they work, they'll take trades. If the market's really bad, like the last 2 days, because today I always got to make sure I mention March 19th today. There's just not much trading opportunity through this because of the trading activity, what's going on in the markets. So I don't know. There's all that going on. Okay. Um, Also, uh, some very just really interesting things here that you can look at. Uh, Let me just see. Low latency. See this one here as well. Okay, it's my ebook. All right, so let's look at some of the PowerShell sessions running. So right now we have this one is the bots running, and this one here is the actual Rhythmic gateway. We'll call it the Redis connection, as in the prior system design, where it'd be like a server and it'd be act as a gateway between all the running bots and all the messaging would go on using Redis message queue pub sub will be piped into this, and then this same server would then interact with Rhythmic as well. So it does away, it gets rid of a lot of those data connection problems I mentioned when it comes to concurrency on Tuesday night. So that's kind of been resolved, but there's still some connectivity problems. So we'll those will get resolved very quickly with AI. Um, Also, okay. So let me go back to my list. So the other thing that's a big difference here is I'm going to show you the code here now of the quant generated projects. So this one, as an example, is bot copper futures electrification trend. Okay. So if you look at these particular uh, bots themselves, the coding, these are generated flawlessly as you what I expect with the bot from Claude what's it called? Claude 4.6. Okay, so it gives you the detail. But what we want to look at is these are some of the hard coded numbers as well from the news. And in here, when you look at everything's more formula now, like trying to be quant. I could make it quant, but I want to do it in a way where it's a little more understandable. So let's take a look at some of the examples here. So in here, some of the techniques that are used is basically technical indicators. So you're going to see EMA right here, measuring, let's say, volatility. Obviously, that's it's using a lot of ATR, average true range. It will go in and look at RSI. I've seen as well. Nothing really complicated here. This is again 100% generated by AI. So, um, you know, it seems to be simple. So it measures the trend using again EMA, and again, uh, there's Z scoring as well that it's using. That's uh, classic quantitative. But you can see here it's also using that ATR, average true range. So it's more math in here, math formulas, expressions, and whatnot. So that's the coding there. Okay. The range of the lines can depend upon what model I'm using to generate these dynamically. Usually, Claude's should be enough. Best one obviously is going to be Claude, the latest Claude Opus 4.6 for now. But as you know, there's always new bots coming out. We just had releases of Minimax point 7 as an example in the last 24 hours. In that other one, I just tested the Grok for multi-agent. Let me address that one as well. So with the multi-agent, I have to say, just generally when it comes to the Grok, there's a lot of hype coming out of Elon Musk's team saying they're the most advanced, the most whatever. I find that's never true. It's just hype, and there's always a disappointment when trying it out. And because it's new, came out in the last almost week now. There's a lot of hype behind it, but usually the reason why Grok falls back into irrelevancy is because a lot of it doesn't work, and I've proven that to myself. So in my case, when I try to create a new project using the Grok multi-agent, a lot of the process just hung. There's not time for that when I've got other models that work flawlessly. It could be Codex and it could be a Claude as well. Some of the Chinese ones I'm still having problems on. Um, hoping to see the new DeepSeek 4 now. They're pushing it back to mid-April. I just saw a news item where it's saying maybe as late as June now. So I don't know what's going on there. Will it be any good? I don't know. So we got to work with what we got today. So there's that. Yes. So I've shown you the groups. Let me talk about the website here, quantlabsnet.com. As I said, the pricing for the quant analytics is going to go up to $97 because of the success I'm finding with the data I'm getting out there, and the more importance of the criticism of AI. I'm sorry, the detail that I'm showing right now and how pretty good it is. The way it's working, so it's definitely going to go $97 a month. So if you want that, jump on that right now for the trial, and then you're secured. Also, more importantly, is the bookings. I'm going to be getting rid of that. As I said in the last week in my streams, that I'm making myself less accessible, and I'm doing that on purpose. I'm finding I'm becoming I don't know what the word is. Without sounding like an egomaniac, but I'm reaching exactly the market I want to reach via LinkedIn. And because of that, I'm reaching the exact market I want. That market that will be willing to pay for this once we get all this working, and once we get the for the track record that's third party verified. We will pay a lot of money. Okay, so that's why I'm making myself less accessible. And when people message me now, just putting that as a caveat, nobody's going to listen to this because they don't watch this to this point. That's okay. But a lot of people will reach me about where do I begin, and that's where I go to my HFT code and point them to that product. It's a signal to me if you're not willing to even go down that route. I see no point in communicating with those type of people. Okay. So that's why I'm getting rid of the bookings and just testing people here now. See how motivated they are. I do get one or two highly motivated people a day, which is good. But it's those motivated people that become high achievers in what they do in success for themselves because they see something, they like it, and they continue it. And I also have my regulars now on my YouTube streams as well, which I highly value. So I'll continue doing that. So my point here is I'm gauging where to put my time in and targeting the exact kind of market I want. So my whole point here is if you're watching this and you like what you're seeing, but you're sitting on the fence, I'm saying you either put up or shut up. Because if you're sitting on the sideline, you either make a make a choice on something to to get something to signal back to me that you're very serious about what you're doing, and specifically more joining this sort of thing, because that signals back to me. Because another big thing is I've got a few groups here that I'm going to leverage more of. And you can see here, I do get some views. Okay, right, 13, not a lot, but it's those people I want to serve. Okay, because those are my call them hardcore fans that have already gone to the level of joining my website, joining my group section, and are reading. Those are the people I want to serve. So again, that's part of my process where I'll be making myself less available. I get like questions on Instagram, Facebook, X, even YouTube. I'm going to be doing away with not responding to people like that. I just don't. I just these are what we call the tire kickers that are just gonna not respect my time. Okay. And I know I'm sounding like I'm complaining. That's okay. I'm just being transparent with people. 'Cause if you don't hear from me, you'll know why. Okay. And it's not about because I'm special or anything, because I have a specific target market. I want to target, as I said, once we get everything verified, profitable, consistently, and sustainably, I think that exact market will respond in a big way and pay the rates that this type of service is worth. So none of that more ranting. All right. So we've talked about that. I've shown you the source code. I've talked about the Grok 9, Grok 4. I've talked about there's no more bookings. I've shown you the quant, the Redis stuff. So I guess we're done. Okay. So my point is, if you really want to be serious, get at least the ebook here. Under the Learn tab, quantlabsnet.com. I would strongly urge you to get onto the groups because what I'm doing now is the only way to know about what's available on this sort of stuff is through my email and through my groups. And I'm purposely doing that by design because, as I said, I want to serve these people that are looking at this content. It might be a tiny number, but we're growing both on LinkedIn, we're growing both on Google search engine, somewhat still kind of growing on all the other social media and that. It's also including YouTube. So leave it at that. Thank you for watching. Have a good day. You know what to do. Alrighty. Bye bye.